This is going to be a fireside chat on the topic scaling nationally through mergers and IPOs. This is going to be a chat between two accomplished, acclaimed guests. From technology, we are moving on to the scaling up part. Alpanavi Vastunam Samhati Karya Sadhika. Even small things when brought together can produce magnificent results. So we are here talking about how mergers can make a difference. Our moderator or anchor for this chat is the CEO of Western India Cashew Company, an alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. We request Mr. Harikrishnan Nair to please step on in the role of a moderator. And joining us as our keynote speaker, joining us in dialogue is Shri K. Paul Thomas, a visionary social entrepreneur, the founder of the path-breaking ESAF group of social enterprises. Heartiest welcome, sir, who also serves as the MD and CEO of ESAF Small Finance Bank, who has scripted history with ESAF. Now we are all eager to listen to the chat.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us today Paul, who's very recently done an IPO, which was subscribed 73 times over. He raised an amount, his company raised an amount of 463 crores, and it was 73 times oversubscribed. So anybody who has not done this, please join your hands in applause to what Paul has done. Now, let me tell you, I think Paul is not somebody who, and this IPO did not come out in 1 year or 2 or 3, 4 years. And Paul is not somebody who actually started out with the aim of making money. Paul, you had 18 years in working in a fertilizer cooperative, okay? Now, why did you join a fertilizer cooperative, and what led you to join a cooperative rather than, somebody who's been able to do all this and, create so much of wealth? How did you end up going to a cooperative in the first place?
Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Tai, for this opportunity to share the journey. So I studied agriculture, and by my final year of my studies, I realized I was seeking for my purpose in life, and I realized that my purpose is to serve the community. So then I was looking for an opportunity to join an NGO, but I got this opportunity to work with this fertilizer cooperative. So I believe that that was a great turning point in my life, because I got opportunity to serve farmers, work with the rural communities in development sector. 50% of my time was to develop developmental activities, and 50% was to do business. So that's why if I joined an NGO in 1983, I would have become a pure social service man. But because of my IFCO experience, I became a social entrepreneur or a social business man. Yeah.
So, what it tells the youngsters here is that it is not money that makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Right? Paul, after 18 years in a fertilizer cooperative, in 1992, he set up an NGO called ESAF Foundation, which was actually, his aim was, one is to give credit access through microcredit. The second was capacity building. And the third was market access, right? So this is, you went into this in 1992. And, did you do it with your own money, or how did you, how did you do this? And what did you manage to achieve with the ESAF Foundation till, it later became an NBFC?
Yeah, in 90s, early 90s, there was no startup, there was no angel investor. So, and see, I wanted to do solve. I was seeing the unemployment issue while working with IFCO. I saw that issue, so it prompted me about my purpose. So me and my wife Marina and a few other friends joined together, and we formed a society because as part of my job, I promoted farmers cooperatives and all, farmer societies. So I knew that model. So it didn't need much money. So we started the ESAF in our rented house in Thrissur called Little. So, and I continued working because in IFCO I had the permission to do social service. So it was a social service organization. So as part of my weekends, holidays I spent. So I didn't had any funding and all. So then a few of my friends started giving some funds for some activities. But in by 3 years of running this NGO, I realized that I cannot make a big impact by mobilizing charity funds. So, so then that's why in 1995 I moved to the social business model by starting a micro enterprise development program following the Bangladesh Grameen Bank model, which was founded by Professor Mohammed Yunus. So from 95 we were following, even in, I was doing it in the NGO only, but it was followed as a business model.
Okay, so how big did you make it before you decided to become an NBFC? What is the size of the company when it became an NBFC?
When I started in 95 and in 99 itself, I realized that a micro credit activity or a lending activity cannot be scaled up in a non-profit society. But I didn't have the capital to form an NBFC because 2 crore was the minimum capital required. So I continued borrowing money from banks and on lending to our micro entrepreneurs. And when then this thought was there, then in 2006 I took over an NBFC, and 2008 the NBFC took over the lending portfolio from the NGO. It was at 57 crores at that time in 2008 when we moved from a non-profit to a for-profit lending activity.
So in something like 12 years, you reached a business level of about 67 crores odd, right? And at that time, I think, okay, even, your business, you believe in community ownership, right? You still, from what I understand, what you told me, is that even after this fundraise, about more than 60% of the company is owned by a multi-state cooperative community ownership. That's a sort of the structure that you have even now, right? So how did it reach there, and how many members are there, who own, who are part of this cooperative society which actually owns ESAF?
So I believed in community ownership, maybe because I worked in a cooperative. So I was trying for different models of community ownership from 2008 onwards. Then 2011 I promoted a multi-state cooperative credit society. The one reason for promoting a multi-state cooperative was that at that point I had an NBFC license which cannot give a saving service. So I wanted to give a full financial service to our members. We don't call them customers, we normally call them members because they are all organized as self-help group. So to provide a saving and deposit service, we started this multi-state credit society, and also they mobilized small capital, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees shares from the around 10 lakh members across the different 8 states. And then when RBI gave the license, issued the license in 2015, RBI said cannot do lending in 2 institutions. So the credit society stopped that lending activity and became an agri cooperative. Now it's a ESAF Swasthya multi-state agri cooperative. So 36% of the bank is now with the public, and we have a holding company in between. So it is not the 60% of not the bank, 60% of the 62% of the holding company is owned by the multi-state cooperative society.
Okay. You kept growing, right? And, after some time, you decided to go for venture funding, and you went to, you went to two, what do you call it? Two funds first, I think, BR Vikas and Mana Vikas. So, I mean, what interested them in you, and what interested you to go to these funds, and what did you achieve with that borrowing?
Yeah, in 2008 when I started the NBFC, then I need capital. Still then I was mobilizing money on my social capital. But once you become a regulated entity, you need to have the capital adequacy requirements are there. So I need real capital. Money was required. Then I approached, these are all, Diya Vikas is a social impact fund. So they mainly invested in ESAF because of the social impact we are creating. And then another fund came in 2015 after we got the bank license, SIDBI. SIDBI also promoted, it is also a social impact fund, SIDBI Venture Capital Fund. Both of them came in. It's because of the social impact focus we have.
So, BR Vikas Fund, I mean, when they came to you, what is this? I mean, I've been hearing here in one of the other, rooms here, that they look for a 25% return on equity. So when BR Capital came to you, did they put that type of, thing for you to, to give you that type of returns and all that, or were you able to negotiate something better?
No, so I was very particular because my intention was to create jobs and mainly to make a social impact. So I wanted an investor who aligns with my vision. So I was very particular on that, and I said no to a few investors also. Big money in 2012-13 period. I got offers, but I realized that they are not fit for us. So I didn't have it. They have not set any return expectation like 20% and all. But the commitments, the outreach commitments we have given, how many people will be reached with the financial access has to be achieved. So that was the main condition they put in. But we have delivered good returns also.
Okay. So, interestingly, when you went to the India Opportunities Fund of SIDBI, we also did the same thing. We raised this something like a similar amount of money.
Yeah.
But mine being a family-owned business, the thought process was very different. I mean, we needed the money to scale up, and but we also did not want to give up ownership. So finally, I think about 5 years later, we gave SIDBI a very, very high return, and we bought back the capital. So it's very, very different from the way you have approached things here. So the money that you raised, I mean, of course.
But one thing, for when Diya Vikas came, they were a pure impact fund. They said they have to get at par. So I agreed for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't go for a big valuation game on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing. When we raised money also, it was at the book value of the company from SIDBI. But, I knew that we were going to buy it back. So, it was part of the, of the document that we have the right to buy it back at a particular IRR. And we did that. So, from both of us, I think at that time, what we did was, we did not really think too much about valuation. We were thinking about how to grow the company, and make it bigger. So after that, I mean, you grew phenomenally after you became a bank, right? And so, okay, you needed the money for the purposes of RBI meeting this thing, etc., etc. But how did you use the money? How much did you grow? I mean, till from 2015, this money would have helped you to scale up. And how did you scale up? What did you do with the money? And
this money really, the banking license really helped us actually. So in 2014 itself, we were stuck actually as a microfinance company. I really wanted to help our micro entrepreneurs to scale up, but I was not able to give them support because as a MFI there was a limit. So I can give up to loans up to 60,000 at that point. So the banking license really helped us to give them to give them confidence that ESAF will be with them to grow their business. So we have grown over last 6 years. We have a CAGR growth of 36%. Banking license gives you your access to public deposit. So public deposit helps us to do more lending. And this capital really, and we after the bank launched in 2017, we raised 2 rounds of capital through private placement in 2018 and 2021.
Okay, and it's not only the CAGR of 39% in the last 3 years and 33% over 6 to 7 years. I mean, it is incredible. I mean, what you've been able to do. But and I remember you were running around opening branches and you're putting it on our WhatsApp messages regularly that this branch is open, this branch is open. So where all did you go?
Yeah, before in 2004 itself, we have expanded to Vidarbha in Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, MP, and apart from Tamil Nadu. Because Kerala is a very highly banked state, lot of cooperative banks and public sector banks and private sector banks all were here. And for our focus for financial inclusion, the need was there. So I've mostly gone with the requirements, the need. So I look into the need, and when we started in 2004 in Vidarbha, farmer suicides and banks were not lending money. So that during that period we have started. So we have gone to more difficult regions, and then 2007 we started in Jharkhand, Bihar, Bengal. So by the time we have started the bank, we have already had presence in around 11 states. Then after the bank launch, we have expanded to 21 states and 2 union territories. So today we have 700 branches and 850 customer service centers operated by our business correspondent partners. And also we have something new we have started is banking agents. So it's an entrepreneurial model. So anybody can become getting a bank license in India is very difficult. But if you really wanted to do banking service, you can partner with us. That is a message we are giving. So that is why we have 25 institutional business correspondents we have. Then around 2,300 banking agents also. So that is scaling up also. The agent network is scaling up.
And then you went for this public issue. Now, public issue, as you know, at one of the other sessions here, they were saying that out of exits and all that, about 1:40 is a sort of ratio between somebody buying you out and public issue. There's very few companies which manage to do successful startups or otherwise, which grow and are able to reach the level of a public issue. And you went to, it was NSE, it was not the, MSME exchange or anything like that. So, you reached there. Could you tell us something about, about how we went about it? Because, very few of us would have done that here, and the challenges are huge, and you would have, to getting it subscribed itself. I have friends who've told me about how difficult it is to, there are many which have not been fully subscribed also, right? And this is in the middle of a funding winter, as they call it, and you have more than 70 times oversubscribed. And so tell us the story of how we went for the public issue.
So I had no option because this was a licensing condition. So we were, from the day one, we were prepared to go for a public issue. Because once you cross a 500 crore net worth within 3 years, the bank has to list. That was a licensing condition. So our dates were 2021 June. So we started our preparations in 2019 itself, and early January 20 we filed the application with SEBI. But unfortunately, by the time we got the SEBI approval, the lockdown started, so we couldn't do the issue in the first attempt. Again, because as a regulated entity, we have to take action on it. We cannot keep idle also. We again refiled. That also we couldn't do that because of the COVID, our NPAs were increasing. So we couldn't, that was not the right time to go to the market. So this is the third attempt we did. So it is all about transparency and the governance and diversification. These are all some things mainly the investors look into it, and also the promoter backing and the legacy all really helped us. So we are one of the pioneers in microfinance, financial inclusion in this country. So that is really paid. So it's my advice, my thing that every successful entrepreneur should aim to list the company, because the moment, because people, we are in south, in the Kerala, we don't get that experience of being listed in a stock exchange. So the visibility you will get and acceptability, the respect as an entrepreneur, and all will come when you become a publicly listed company only. That I realize, I really felt that when I go for investor meetings in Bombay and Ahmedabad and other places. So you should, only thing that you should have a plan, okay, so that you can start working on it and prepare yourself, and if you have a complicated structure, clean it up. You have a very simple, investors appreciate a very simple, clean structure, shareholding structure.
So now, what's the plan actually? I mean, so when you go public, right? I mean, you also have to say, tell them what you're going to do in the next 5 years, etc., etc. So where do you hope to reach? Where are you? I mean, when people get into their first jobs, right? I mean, we ask them, where do you hope to be in 10 years? So I'm asking you, where do you hope to be in 5 years from now?
No, I have to be very careful. I cannot make futuristic statements which can impact the share price. So I cannot. So we have grown 30% growth. That is our legacy. That's our past history. And I can say that we are 70% of the branches are in rural and semi-urban areas of India. And India, considering the growth story, I believe that the segment we serve, the micro entrepreneurs, farmers, farmer producer organizations, all these will drive the 5 trillion economy dream of our country. That's why I strongly believe. Because, see, thank you. Why I'm saying this, that I've been working with micro entrepreneurs for the last 30 years, and if we support them, if you have a real ecosystem to support micro entrepreneurs, they can create jobs. And our micro entrepreneurs, around active borrowers, we have 40 lakh. Out of that, we'll take 30%. 30% are real entrepreneurs. Micro entrepreneurs, they are creating 2 to 4 jobs outside their family. 2 to 4 jobs. So that is why I'm saying that. So the small tea shop owner, I can just give you one example. We recently gave a car loan and a housing loan to a migrant boy who came from Assam at his 15 years age, Kobijul Haq in Angamali. He started working in a flower shop. Then he started his own flower shop. Now he has given, I don't have time to explain the story in detail, but he is giving job to 12 people. You can just imagine. And he built a house 50 lakh. We only gave 20 lakh loan. He built a house of 50 lakh. So that is it. When I travel in remote locations in Jharkhand or MP, so local tea shop, they are making 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees minimum. I'm talking about Jharkhand. So if that is the case in Jharkhand, what will be the impact in? So there will be, and they all need, like Kobijul, so they need to build a house, they need to buy a car, so they need to send their children to universities, they have aspirations and they need funding. They need a trusted bank to support them. So we know these customer segments very well, and we work with farmers. We have a big team to support the farmers. ESAF Foundation promoted 120 farmer producer companies across 8 states. Some of them are here today. So we have developed a product called FIG loan, Farmer Interest Group Loan, and all the investment loans we have. And we understand this segment, and this segment going to drive India's growth, and we have a huge opportunity. So that I hope I answered your question.
Yes, of course. Now I'd like to leave it open to the audience for a couple of questions. We have 3 minutes, maybe 1 or 2 questions maximum. And please keep your questions short. No statements, just ask the question, please.
എൻ്റെ പേര് ഷാജി. എനിക്ക് സാറിനോട് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ള ചോദ്യം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, സാറ് ഈ ലോൺ കൊടുക്കുമല്ലോ, മൈക്രോ ഫിനാൻസ്, ചെറിയ എമൗണ്ടുകളൊക്കെ. ഈ ലോണിൻ്റെ റീപേയ്മെൻറ്റ് എങ്ങനെയുണ്ട്? തിരിച്ച് കിട്ടിയാലല്ലേ പിന്നെയും കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. റീപേയ്മെൻറ്റിന് വീഴ്ച വരുന്നുണ്ടോ? ബാങ്കുകൾക്ക് പോലും പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
നല്ല ചോദ്യം. താങ്ക് യു ഷാജി ഫോർ ആസ്കിങ് ദാറ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. ഞങ്ങളുടെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിൽ റീസെൻ്റ്ലി വൺ ഓഫ് ദി അതർ ബാങ്ക് MDS gave a presentation in a conference that unsecured loans or loans given to these segments are having less NPAs compared to the secured big ticket loans. എൻ്റെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് 98% ഓൺ ടൈം റീപേയ്മെൻറ്റ് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. കോവിഡ് ഈ ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഈവൻറ്റ്സ് വരുമ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് പ്രശ്നങ്ങളുണ്ടാവും. ഇപ്പോൾ ഫ്ലഡ് വന്നപ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് സമയം നമുക്ക് അവർക്ക് നീട്ടി കൊടുക്കേണ്ടി വന്നു. കോവിഡ് വന്നപ്പോൾ കുറേ ലോൺസ് ഞങ്ങൾ റീസ്ട്രക്ചർ ചെയ്തു, സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ വി കനോട്ട് റൺ അവേ. ഓൺലി തിങ് ദാറ്റ് വി ഹാവ് ടു സ്റ്റേ വിത്ത് ദ കസ്റ്റമർ ആൻഡ് വളരെ അവർക്ക് അടയ്ക്കാവുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള സിമ്പിളായിട്ടുള്ള, ഇഫ് ദെയർ ഇൻകം ഈസ് ഓൺ എ വീക്ക്ലി ബേസിസ് they can pay weekly. If their income is daily, small shop owners and all, they can pay daily. And fortnightly repayment options are there, monthly repayment options are there, and we go to them. We don't wait them to come to us.
മറ്റു വലിയ നാഷണലൈസ് ബാങ്കിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ NPA എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ 10 ലക്ഷം കോടിയൊക്കെയാണ്. ഈവൻ മോർ ദാൻ ദാറ്റ്.
ഇപ്പോൾ കുറഞ്ഞു അതല്ല.
എത്ര കുറഞ്ഞു? അത്ര ഒരു കുറഞ്ഞിട്ടൊന്നുമില്ല. ഇറ്റ് മേ ബി ഓൺ ദി ഇൻക്രീസ്.
I don't want to comment on that.
Just one more question, the last question, please, and make the question short.
സാർ, ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു ബിസിനസ്സിന് നമ്മൾ ലോൺ കൊടുക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഓഡിറ്റഡ് ബാലൻസ് ഷീറ്റ് ഒരു 3 വർഷത്തേക്ക് വാലിഡേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് കൊടുക്കുക. പക്ഷെ കർഷകർക്ക് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഓപ്ഷൻ ഇല്ല ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ അവസ്ഥയിൽ. സോ അങ്ങനെ നിങ്ങൾ ആക്ച്വലി ഇസാഫ് കൂടുതലും കാറ്റർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഫാമേഴ്സിനെ പോലുള്ള കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിനെന്താണ് ചെയ്യുക? ഹൗ ഡു യു വാലുവേറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ദ ക്രെഡിബിലിറ്റി ഓർ റീപേയ്മെൻറ്റ് കപ്പാസിറ്റി ഓഫ് ദ ഫാമേഴ്സ്?
സോ നൗ ഫാർമേഴ്സിന് ലോൺ കൊടുക്കാനായിട്ട് ബാലൻസ് ഷീറ്റിൻ്റെ ഒന്നും ആവശ്യമില്ല. ഫാമേഴ്സിന് കൃഷി ഉണ്ടാവണം, സ്ഥലം ഉണ്ടാവണം, ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഫാമേഴ്സിന് ലോൺ കൊടുക്കും. പിന്നെ അവരുടെ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് ബ്യൂറോയിലുള്ള ഹിസ്റ്ററി നോക്കും. ഇത് 2-3 കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. പിന്നെ FPO പോലുള്ള ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻസിന് ഇപ്പോൾ നബാർഡിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഗ്യാരണ്ടി ഫണ്ടുണ്ട്. സോ വി ആർ രജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് വിത്ത് ദ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി ട്രസ്റ്റ്. സോ യൂസിങ് ദാറ്റ് ഗ്യാരണ്ടി ഓൾസോ വി ആർ പ്രൊവൈഡിങ് ലോൺസ് ടു FPOs.
പാട്ടത്തിന് കൃഷി എടുത്തിട്ട് കൃഷി ചെയ്യുന്ന കർഷകർ കുറേ കൂടെ പ്രൊഫഷണലായിട്ട് അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്ന കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ലാർജ് സ്കെയിലിൽ ചെയ്യുന്ന കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവർക്കത് സ്കെയിൽ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ള ലോൺ കൊടുക്കാൻ ഓപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടോ?
പാട്ടത്തിനുള്ള സ്ഥലത്തിന് ഞങ്ങൾ ലോൺ കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അതിന് എഗ്രിമെൻറ്റും പാട്ടത്തിൻ്റെ ലീസ് എഗ്രിമെൻറ്റും ഒക്കെ വേണമെന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. യു ക്യാൻ അപ്രോച്ച് അസ്.
താങ്ക് യു സർ.
Thank you. I think we are supposed to have Dr. Sadullah also here, and this was initially we wanted to be talking about different modes of raising finance, but we have ended up with something which is very, very different about how a social entrepreneur can reach very, very high levels. And I think this is due to the Kerala model, and we're very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari, and to all my entrepreneurs. If you stick to your purpose, And if you have a big dream, definitely, and if you are willing to work for it, definitely anything can be achieved. So that is the story of ESAF. Thank you.
Thank you very much.